champion Dominic Cruz got a grade 2 or 3 groin tear, getting ready for the big fight against interim champion Renan. So he's out of the fight again. Renan will become the bantamweight champion, and Urijah Faber, one of the biggest stars in the UFC, he's going to step in just 3 weeks' notice and take on Renan.
It was super unexpected to have Dana call me and offer me the opportunity to step in and fight for the UFC World Championship. When you get an opportunity, you take it, and that's what I did. I keep in shape, I feel good all the time, so it didn't take me long before I said, all right, man, let's do it. I'm gonna step in and take that belt.
Eu fiquei meio adrenalizado na hora que eu fiquei sabendo que ia lutar com o Faber, né?
I hate what happened to Dominic Cruz, but I'm more pumped up about this fight now. Urijah Faber versus Renan could be a classic.
Renan has one of the greatest winning streaks in the history of MMA. He hasn't lost since 2005.
He's fought 6 times in the UFC, and he's beaten the best guys they put in front of him.
Na minha opinião, eu acho que sim, que eu sou o verdadeiro campeão da categoria peso galo. Eu acho que eu fiz várias lutas lá para provar isso, né? Eu acho que eu fui campeão interino, defendi 2 vezes.
Barao does everything well. Look at his defensive wrestling, look at his striking, look at the ways in which he puts guys away. You can heap accolades on him forever.
Assim, bem agressivo, né? Eu acho. Meu objetivo na luta é tentar nocautear ou finalizar a qualquer momento.
Renan Barao literally is better every time we see him.
Renan trains at Nova União, one of the best camps in Brazil, and he trains with José, Aldo, who is one of the best fighters in the world.
Estudo bastante no Aldo, sentar assim, dizer, vamos lá, campeão, consegue, vamos lá movimentar, vamos mexer a cabeça, botar pra movimentar mesmo e treinar bastante.
It falls under the old adage, iron sharpens iron.
I think the familiarity between these two opponents makes it a very interesting matchup because I think the first time around, maybe Urijah didn't necessarily know everything that Renan was capable of doing.
O Faber é um cara duro, um cara que mostrou ser duro naquela luta, né? Eu tava no meu melhor.
After that fight with Barao, I had to change my attitude. I couldn't think about the missed opportunities, and I had to get back to understanding how lucky I am to be in a situation that I am. I got back to that mentality, and the result was 2013.
Another submission victory. Huge elbow there, Joe. If it were not for Chris Weidman beating Anderson Silva 2 times, I would say Urijah Faber was probably a shoe-in for Fighter of the Year last year.
There's no doubt in my mind that this is the best fighter I've ever been. I feel like I'm in tip-top physical shape.
This is a guy who has never lost a fight that was not a title fight.
The difference in this fight is my mentality. I'm learning new things, constantly trying to get better. I'm just enjoying where I'm at and ready to seize. It means everything to me to have that belt. If all goes as planned, I'll be walking away as a champion, and that's what I want.
Com certeza eu me considero como o melhor peso galo do mundo. E quem tem dúvida, né, vai ver lá dia 1º. Eu vou pra nocautear.
José Aldo remains the UFC featherweight champion.
Ricardo Lamas is the real deal.
Whole another level of fighting.
It's without question, José Aldo is the best featherweight ever. It's not up for debate.
Acho que o público pode esperar sempre o máximo do José Aldo. Eu acho que é um lutador que vai lutar sempre à frente e lutar por eles ali dentro.
He has a streak of 13 straight wins in the WEC and UFC. He has 7 title defenses in WEC and UFC.
All of his fights in the UFC, all of them, have been title defenses. That's kind of crazy.
José Aldo Jr.
You can definitely compare José Aldo's streak to Anderson Silva's streak before he lost. You can compare José Aldo's streak to George St. Pierre's streak.
Recordes que vão surgindo a cada luta, então isso acho que é uma motivação, uma extra. Tem muita coisa ainda para conquistar.
He just goes out there and just mauls people.
Really what makes him stand apart is the ability to exact damage in an instant.
Acho que o meu estilo pode casar com qualquer lutador. Acho que eu tenho um estilo diferenciado. Eu consigo lutar tanto em pé, no chão, onde a luta cair. Eu acho que isso
José Aldo kicks hard, he punches hard. His timing is so good. He's the champ for a reason.
Unbelievable power this guy has.
But I've trained for all of that. I'm pushing my body to the limit so that I'll be able to get in there in the ring with him and win.
Ricardo Lamas is a destroyer.
Is a guy who's somewhat flown under the radar, but he's been flying under that radar while winning fights in pretty impressive fashion.
That's it. Ricardo Lamas trying to finish his fight, and it's all over.
I think one of the reasons a lot of people don't know my name is because I'm not one of these loudmouth fighters that, talks a lot outside the ring. I tend to speak with my actions inside the octagon, and I think that's the most important part.
Ricardo Lamas has beaten enough guys. He's on a winning streak. He thought that he deserved to get that shot against Aldo in August, and he's been waiting, and now it's finally his time.
I pretty much got passed up on the title 3 times. I fought my way to the top. I fought the top contenders. I felt like I was the #1 contender.
Acho que ele é um lutador completo, ele joga muito bem, tanto em pé, no chão, parte de queda, mas todos eu acho que ele tá com merecimento ali.
In most of my fights, I've come in as the underdog, and I've walked out as the winner. And I'm looking to do the same in this fight.
Ricardo Lamas is a really tough competitor, and I think he'll prove a really tough test for José Aldo.
I see a guy who, if I hit hard enough on the chin, he will go down. If I choke hard enough, he will tap out. So I'm not going to be another statistic. I'm coming in for this belt. I'm coming in to win.
What a victory for Ricardo Lamas.
Todo lutador procura sempre estar falando um pouco para desmotivar o atleta, mas ali dentro, sim, quando a gente fica cara a cara um do outro, a gente vê quem é quem.
When Frank Mir and Alistair Overeem step into the octagon on February 1st, both those guys know that one of them might walk out of there for the last time.
I'm coming off of 3 losses, he's coming off of 2.
That means one of us is gonna get fired, and it's my job not to make it leak.
In serious trouble!
In their primes, they were 2 of the greatest heavyweights in the UFC.
This is the best Frank Mir has ever looked. He's one of the longest tenured fighters in the UFC. You were talking about a guy that's been in the UFC over 12 years in the heavyweight division.
Before this streak here, I've never had a back-to-back loss. I've always bounced back from defeats.
He's had some brutal victories where he's taken some guys out, he's broken some limbs.
Frank Mir is one of the most gifted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in all of the sport.
And his stand-up is very good. So the Frank Mir who's 100% dedicated to getting back on track, that's a dangerous Frank Mir.
He's still trying to get better. He's still trying to evolve, even though he's been in the UFC for so long. He's still trying to get back to that pinnacle.
Going back for a title shot is definitely something I would want. Once I no longer want to be a champion, why fight? Why bother?
Alistair Overeem was the K1 champion. He was the Strikeforce heavyweight champion. He's arguably the best pure striker in all of mixed martial arts.
He has the best knees in any division.
Rock is hurt. This is going to be it. Alistair Overeem has defeated Brock Lesnar.
Going into the UFC, I think a lot of people thought he was going to wreak havoc on the division.
Alistair Overeem retired Brock Lesnar.
He's supposed to parlay what he had done against Brock Lesnar and bring that reign into the championship.
But we haven't seen that same Alistair Overeem the last 2 years.
Always you have to reassess your situation. A loss just makes you reassess it more.
He was winning his last 2 fights. It was only his own headstrong feeling of being invulnerable that caused him to lose.
There's a million things I could have done and I should have done. I've been working on it extensively.
If Alistair Overeem won those 2 fights, we're having a totally different conversation. We're talking about Alistair Overeem fighting for the UFC title.
Rest assured that UFC goal is still in the back of my head. But first things first, we have to get for this fight. Get that W.
I can read the writing. I have to make sure that I come out on top.